Hello there, people.
Hello.
Hello.
Back again, huh?
Back at it again.
Yeah. So what are we doing today?
Talking about some top 5 lists.
Personal top 5 picks.
Personal top 5 picks.
Okay.
Hard questions.
Hard questions?
Hard topics.
Are you sure that they're really going to be this hard?
Maybe.
Maybe. So I have a fun one and a kind of serious one for you. So
mine are both just kind of wanting to watch you suffer. So
wanting to watch me suffer?
They're both just fun ones, but I'm just gonna sit here and watch you just go.
Fine. Youngest first.
Gaming or music?
Huh?
Gaming or music? Which one?
God, you really had to do gaming and music.
I did.
Do the games. Do the games.
In your life playing video games, what are the top 5 hardest boss fights?
Top
gaming
5
as a top 5
hardest boss
fucking
fights.
God, I hate this boss from boss fights.
Fuck you. Fuck you. You really had this is going to take me forever to think about this.
Wanted to watch you suffer.
In only the games that I play that I consider the hardest. Okay.
Personal experience. I want you to be like, well, people say this is hard. Like Melina, I haven't fought her yet, but she's a bitch.
I haven't fought Melina either.
At some point in time, she's probably gonna make it up there on your list of top 5.
Probs. Well, I'm gonna go balls to the wall, obviously, because Sephiroth in either Kingdom Hearts 1 or 2 is always a bitch. I think the only one I've ever gotten to beat is the first one.
First one?
First one is the only one I've ever beaten. The second one is impossible to me. I don't understand of how they do that.
We're gonna try and rank these from hard to really hard.
So I'm going from top to bottom.
Top to bottom.
So
Sephiroth.
Sephiroth is usually always the hardest for me.
Has claimed the crown
because I'm a fanboy and I'm like that. Okay. The second one. Oh. Trying to think of some of my games. I know I need to kind of look around a little bit. Second one would definitely have to be that worm in Final Fantasy 13 in the tower that I'm always talking about. It's like 3/4 of the way through the game, maybe halfway. I know you haven't played that one a lot, but
I haven't touched 13.
The reason why 13 is considered hard for me, I mean, it's not really that hard, but it is a very challenging game. Most of those bosses usually always have 1,000,000 HP plus.
Jeez.
Yeah, usually, and that's if they're playing nice. They have 10 million. I'm pretty sure there's even 100 million too. But you're outdoing a lot of damage. But sometimes that doesn't fucking matter.
Doesn't add up, right?
Third one would have to be it's your Pokemon. So there was usually always some leaders that would really screw me.
My biggest flex.
Nope. Well, your flex?
My biggest flex is people complain about Cynthia back in Platinum. I beat her first try for my buddy. And I got that. And I was like, Cynthia's not even that hard. And then I hear that she got buffed from the Platinum remakes. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be fun.
Took Chris 10 times.
Jeez, I honestly want to say it's probably the Elite Four and Silver and Gold.
Silver's Elite Four?
Yeah, Silver's Elite Four. They have some pretty tricky ones in that.
The level scaling for Silver is way off compared to the other games because your Pokemon are a lot lower level than what the other ones are for.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's just because you're going through both regions. Yeah.
And then, fourth one would have to be. Oh, what was that? There was this. I don't know. This isn't considered a boss battle, but I consider it a boss battle. Is the chariot race in Twilight Princess Zelda, when you have to save the mermaid from the.
Oh, when you're escorting them.
Yeah, when you're escorting the carriage of her.
I cannot do those.
The
bridge battles.
See, the bridge battles, even with the King Bulbin, that took me a while to master those.
It's because you have to run at him, bait him, and
then
then curve back and make sure because your sword's. He has more reach than you, so you're gonna go there and swing, but you're gonna miss. He cannot physically miss. His sword is as long as the bridge itself. Yeah. He can literally just pull it out and just run past and slice at you.
He's pretty much arm barring you the entire time.
That's when Torrent comes in helpful. We shit on Torrent the horse. You can double jump over that.
If only opponent was that cool. Yeah, but when it came to that carriage ride, you had so many different things that you had to do, which was make sure you put out the fires, knock off the Bulbins off the horses. There was arrows shooting at you the entire time, and I'm pretty sure there's one other thing, but I can't remember the rest of it. And usually that game has always stumped me that I never got past that when I was younger.
I definitely think it goes from Oh, the people they're like, okay, yeah, let's knock them off. Oh, fire arrows. The carriage is on fire. Put it out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, birds.
Yep.
And then you're like, oh, it's finally over. And then all the way across the bridge, that big old fat pig boy is sitting over there.
The fat pig boy.
Fat pig boy is like,
he was invulnerable. He came, but you had to fight him like.
You fought him at the castle too. You go back to the castle, and I'm pretty sure he's the one that gives
at the
you the
end.
key. Yeah.
He's the boss right before Ganon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure at the end of the game. Number 5. Oh, Fallen Order. That second sister. The second sister. Yep, I hated her. It took me at least a good 5 times for me to beat her. The
last time you fight her
on top of the tree in Kashyyyk.
Oh, that's the ninth sister.
The ninth sister, yeah, that one. The big broody one, yeah. She whooped my ass.
I think I suffered more with the second sister in the Inquisitores.
At the end?
Yeah.
Really? See, I got that battle combo in 1.
And then she has that move where she like runs at you and like sucks all your life out, and then literally bitch slaps you to the ground. You're like, oh, I can live, and then just you're like dead. And I'm like, oh my god.
And even Dathomir in that game is pretty hard too. Well, not really hard, but there's a lot of twists and turns.
They definitely go like, hey, you could go to Dathomir if you want right now. Like, oh hell yeah! You go there and you're so underleveled.
Yeah.
And one tap you every single time. And then...
Well, that's just the risk that they expect you to take. The top 5 Pokemon.
Top 5 Pokemon. Okay,
it's funny just because I just know I'm gonna watch you suffer.
I think I have settled it down to my favorite Pokemon of all time. That is Goodra from Gen 7.
Goodra?
Can I show you pictures of these?
No.
Goodra is a literal slime, right? It's like, you start with Goomy. It's like a little bulbous of goop.
A goop?
A goop of slime. Not like Ditto, it's literally just a ball.
Or Slugma? Is it kind of not even like Slugma?
Sliggoo, its evolution, looks like Macargo. Just with a smaller shell. It's a slug.
Okay, I get you.
And then Goodra is just like, it's just like dripping. It's got like little T-Rex arms. It's like got a big old tail. And then in Legends of Arceus, it gave it a Hisuian form, and it made it a steel type, and its tail turned into a shell. So it like goes in its shell and hides.
Interesting.
It's freaking adorable.
Interesting.
It's the pseudo-legendary of that region, so it's like the strongest dragon type. It's not the strongest compared to...
Yeah. But okay, number 2.
Number 2... Probably Munchlax.
Munchlax?
I relate personally with Munchlax. We all saw this coming. I like eating food. Munchlax likes eating food. It's adorable. I watched Destiny Deoxys. Was like my first ever Pokemon movie. I got at the video store that downtown used to have whenever we were at Dad's. I think I've rented that movie so many times.
Is that the one with Deoxys, right?
The one with Deoxys, yeah.
I actually like that one. That one was probably the best one.
But they meet a Munchlax there, and it's like just eating their food, and then it eats their sandwiches. They look at him, he's like, oh, I'm sorry. He literally spits it out and like shapes it back together and gives it to them, and they're like, I don't care, man. Just eat it. And he's like, yes! And he just eats it again.
That's funny.
Then he evolves into a Snorlax, and literally, they're like, get off your lazy butt. He's like, I don't want to.
You gotta go find a flute first before you can move me.
Yeah. I just love Munchlax. It makes cute noises. Whenever it walks, it goes munch, 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 munch as it walks. Number 3. This is where it gets hard. I think I can do top 3, and the last 2 are going to be a problem. But Scizor.
Classic.
Scizor's a classic. He's dope. He's got the big old claws.
Big
meaty claws.
What did you say,
What did you say? Big meaty claws.
We gotta pull out the SpongeBob references all the time.
When I played Pokken again in Winona, when we went last year, I picked Scizor as my...
in Pokken Tournament, he was my favorite fighter.
I'm using him right now, and I used him then, and I teared with him. He's just dope. He's a steel type. He's cool. He's bug type. One of the stronger bug types.
It was either him or Blaziken. You don't like Blaziken?
I don't like Blaziken.
How do you not like Blaziken?
Because he's weird.
Because he's weird, because he looks like an overgrown, furry hen chicken.
He looks so freaking weird.
A skinny hen chicken.
He doesn't stand, in the new game models, he doesn't stand on his feet, he stands on his claws. His claws point downwards like it's tiptoeing on his claws. It's not smushed to his feet. He's like... on his claws. It looks so freaking wanky. I don't like it. It's so weird.
Weird.
All right, now.
Your last 2.
Change my mind. Scizor's going down to 4. Number 3 goes to Mimikyu. Mimikyu from Gen 7. This one's Gen 7. It's a little ghost fairy type.
I think I remember you showing me what this looks like.
Pikachu doll with its head tilted.
Yep.
And it's either so terrifying They're so ugly that if you look at it, you die. Like, that's his Pokedex that you literally go, oh, look at that. You pass out dead.
What does that remind me of? That reminds me of something like when they lift up like a paper bag off somebody and they just like
ugly
die.
barnacle.
Yeah. You gave me the ugly.
There once was an ugly barnacle who was so ugly everybody died.
The end.
The end. How's that a good thing? Oh no. Literally Mimikyu.
Just because of that reason?
Mimikyu to his... No. He's really strong. His abilities disguise. You get one free hit in because if it hits you, his head just knocks to the side because it's his disguise. And then you get a free hit in and you can just deal damage. If you're faster, it works beneficially because you swipe, it attacks, you get another hit in before they deal damage to you. It works fine. But I like to think that it's so adorable underneath its clothing that people die from no overloaded cuteness. That's what I like thinking.
That's a good theory.
Because like, it looks like the eyes are on Pikachu's cloth, like his cloth disguise, like he looks up from the top. These little slits in his tummy, that is little black slits, and it's like, I think those are his eyes, and these little hands that pop up. I'm like, that's adorable.
Maybe, what if he's like a mimic from D&D?
Maybe.
To where they lift up and then he completely like eats their soul instead of actually eating
Don't
them.
ruin this for me!
I'm just saying, like, mimic, you know, you never trust a mimic in D&D. You never trust a mimic in any game, to be honest.
Gave him that's when they brought in Z-moves, and one of his Z-moves is called, it's Snuggle Time, or Let's Snuggle Forever, and he jumps on top of the person, like, his cloth, like, opens up, and he's just this giant monstrosity, and he's just beating him up inside his cloth body.
He's a mimic.
He's a mimic, I know.
He's a mimic.
He's cool, though.
Never trust a mimic.
He's adorable. I trust him. I trust that Mimikyu.
Just that Mimikyu.
Just that Mimikyu. In an episode of the anime, Meowth looks under and actually dies. But since it's Pokemon, his spirit comes back down. But, like, they literally killed off Meowth just because he looked under there. It was, yeah. Mimikyu's on spot 3. He kicks Scizor down a notch.
So then Scizor was number 4.
Number 4. Number 5 is when I say screw you, Gabe, because I do not know off the top of my head.
Just name a quick one. One that you know that you've always liked, even though that it's not like a good one. Totodile?
I think it's Totodile.
See, Totodile is considered a pretty powerful one. But I never picked Totodile. I always picked Cyndaquil.
Totodile was my first one. I think that's where the special place in my heart goes to. It's Totodile.
Do you like Feraligatr?
I love Feraligatr.
And Croconaw?
Mm-hmm. Croconaw's mid. It's like Totodile, looks like a weird Feraligatr. Togepi dinosaur. I do not like Croconaw that much.
He looks like a Togepi dinosaur. Mm-hmm. Like if Togepi had sex with an alligator, and that's what Croconaw is.
But like Incineroar, when I first I saw the leaked designs for Pokemon, and I saw Incineroar, I'm like, that's stupid. I do not like that. Decidueye, dope. That's true. I'm picking Decidueye. But if Lin's is that, and it's this giant, awesome Sabertooth, I don't want it. I know. I think that's. Top 5 maybe iffy because Umbreon is really cool too, the Eevee evolutions, but I think Totodile beats Umbreon by a little bit.
Well, it's all that's why it's personal top 5 picks, so it's whatever you like.
Umbreon would be like
you don't have to fanboy just because everybody else likes Eevee.
Skinny
right.
boy.
You ready? So this is a little serious, but it's.
Oh, we're not going back to you?
Oh yeah, that's right. It is my turn. Okay, yeah, go.
This may not be as hard as I thought. Your top 5 favorite songs of all time.
Top songs? Okay, that's a little different.
It's not. Okay.
If it was artists, I could easily blow through that like nothing. But
top
songs. Okay. Roulette by System of a Down.
Number 1.
It's just this isn't scaled. These are my number 1 songs that I do like listening to a lot. Because with System of a Down, everybody knows him as a progressive nu metal screaming anarchy. Screw the government and stuff like that.
Chop Suey.
I mean, I love System of a Down though. They're awesome. They're different way. I love how it's three different people from almost all the same cultures, and then you got somebody from Russia, and then they all combine, and they're all talking about not just specifically the U.S. government, but almost every government.
Yeah.
And it's I'm not one of those people that is like, oh, I hate the government consistently. I do also believe that it is one thing though that is weird to not question your own government just because that it is something that is definitely necessary when you're looking at them do something stupid and what the hell, So, but yeah, Roulette is a completely different switch from heavy riffs to all acoustic, and both of the singers are both opera trained singers. I love it. So yeah, that's number 1 is Roulette. 2, Under Pressure by Logic.
I'm gonna say Queen.
No, and isn't that David Bowie?
It's both.
It's both? Mm-hmm. Okay. But yeah, Under Pressure by Logic. Just because I'm obviously a Logic fanboy, you know, I have the tat to prove it. But Logic has always been one of those that have been there for me, even in my most deepest moments of what you could consider eternal sadness or anything at that point. But that song specifically it's in the name. It's about under pressure. He's pressurized about everything that's going on, from being able to do work, family, and all these other different things that I can relate to that too, because I want to try to do all these different things. But, you know, I got all my family in one thing. I got my job, and then I got this, and then I got streaming, you know, so it's like I do feel definitely pressured, but at the same time, it always gives me at least a good way to look about it, because when I listen to it and I feel under pressure, it kind of relieves some of it just because I know that I can do it. I don't know. It's weird, but it's a 9-minute song, but half of it,
hear me out.
But half of it is also just like him talking. Mm-hmm. His dad's on there talking, some of his family members, but even some of the references that he pulls from his brother, his sister, his dad, you know, and like he doesn't talk to his mom, so like his mom's not introduced in that. But even just those three alone, you know, like those are the three that I'm usually definitely not talking to the most when it comes to my, you know, I do talk to mom a little more considerably, but of course I do see you at work consistently. So yeah. So number 3. Jeez.
I got it.
It had to be the songs.
I got him.
It had to be the songs. Probably Quixotic Elixir. I don't even know if I pronounced that right. Quixotic Elixir. It's a bonus track on their Californication album. Mm-hmm. It is really groovy. It's got these like whole like jamming in the sun feels, because I do like warm weather, and he's constantly referring to warm weather. So it's definitely one of those songs that I can just mellow out to the entire time.
Looks like someone wants to get funky.
Funky. Number 4.
Sure, Cambria isn't popping up.
Oh, that's a good one. You kind of pretty much just gave me that one. But even thinking about having to pick all of Coheed and Cambria's songs, I mean, I'd probably have to say Willing Well number 2. There's 4 versions on that song, 1 through 4, and number 2 is probably the jamminest to me. But, you know, you can't always forget about Welcome Home. Crossing the Flames, really good.
Skeletons Live is
10 speed God's Blood, that's a good one too. So that album's honestly just high tier in general. If I'm just gonna reverse that to number 4, where my favorite song is that whole album, because I can listen to that whole album front to back without a problem. Like, easiest thing ever.
It's like picking a favorite movie.
Exactly.
When it's like a movie, it's like your favorite Star Wars movie. I'm like, I like all of them. So
yeah. I'm just gonna watch all the Lord of the Rings in one go, because you know
it's just all one big story.
And then number 5,
Beethoven's Fifth Symphony.
See, I also got those weird, quirky ones too. Suit and Tie by Justin Timberlake. I've only listened to that song probably for about a good year now, and I listen to it at work to that song all the time.
I remember this is a portion of you had 2 Justin Timberlake songs you listened to.
There's 3. I have 3. I have Sexy Back, Suit and Tie, and then Rock Your Body. Rock Your Body is probably my next favorite one after Suit and Tie. But yeah, Suit and Tie, it's always a straight jam. I love it when Jay-Z pops up and stuff like that. I don't know. It's always a straight vibe. Justin Timberlake knows how to sing. I don't listen to a lot of Justin Timberlake, but, you know, when he's past the ramen noodle hair, prime.
You can't talk about Justin Timberlake without bringing up Andy Samberg in Lonely Island.
Lonely Island? Is that a music video?
No, that's their band. It's like Dick in a Box, I'm on a Boat.
Really?
That's a whole...
He does that with Andy Samberg?
Yeah, that's them. That's
I did not know that.
It's Andy Samberg and JT. And they have... It's Lonely, I'm on a Boat, Dick in a Box, Mother Lover. Like, that's their whole entire... Like,
Dick in a Box.
They have that. That's their band together.
That's funny.
There's an SNL skit where they're, like, a foreigner going to America. They're talking about, like, maybe our sons, our great sons, will have a band together and sing about stuff. Yeah. And I was like... Yeah, no.
I never would expect Andy Samberg to be a singer.
No, it's Andy Samberg and JT.
But of course, the one that got me into JT was Anna. You know, and Mom used to listen to Justin Timberlake all the time.
She loves Justin
Timberlake. You know, but obviously as I got older, I wasn't as picky as I'm not as picky as I was before, where I would only listen to rap or heavy metal. Like now I listen to everything else. Besides country, I will never listen to freaking country. I'm not saying that country is bad, but country does not feel my vibe. I got one song that I like, and that's Keith Urban. That's the only one, and it's one song that I like.
I've had to reshape my whole like country standpoint because Mom will catch me jamming. It's like they do have some really good beats. You're just losing yourself and you start nodding and stuff too. They look at me like, you caught me.
Yep.
So I don't hate country, but you will not see me jamming to like 7 country songs in a row.
Yep. I can't.
If it pops, I have a couple. I think "Take Me Home" is on my playlist, and then "Ghost Riders in the Sky" by Johnny Cash. I think those are the 2 technically only country songs.
I mean, some people will consider Johnny Cash rock and roll. Some people consider him country. It's whatever you really prefer. I mean, I feel he's an artist that is has a lot.
Yeah.
I don't really think that he's specifically just a country. If anything, like I guess a country rock and roll. That would kind of make more sense.
But they'll catch me and I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
Like country, I'm like, okay, it's fine. It's acceptable sometimes. Okay, but like you won't see me
and my version of country is older, like 70s, 60s rock and roll. Or even, the newer song or the older songs we've been listening to, like White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplanes. That, like somebody that I used to know is not an older gen song, but the way that he sets up that song and the way that the video takes place, it makes me literally think of a David Bowie video from like the 1970s. I can't really remember how long Bowie's been doing music, but I'm pretty sure it's around that time.
And then he dipped. Now he's just somebody that we used to know.
Who is that? Somebody that we used to know. We don't even know how to pronounce his name either.